Okay, Kristen, I never asked you this. Have you spent a lot of time in Old Town?
Yeah, you know, it's the place I always take my family when they come to visit. You know, it's just a cool place, lots of culture, great food, good jewelry.
Yes,
good times.
I think the same thing, and that was what I did with my family the last day they were here, and we just walked around, and I mean, there's just such a sense of pride across the entire area of all the people who work there and all the people that visit. There were a lot of people recently visiting for the Gathering of Nations, and so all of these tourists and people were around, and I looked around and I thought, wow, these people are so in awe of such a beautiful place, and I actually get to live here, so it was really cool.
It is a really neat place, and you've been there recently, right?
Yes, I was there recently, and we're going to take a look because, you know, Albuquerque grew up around the Old Town area, and there are still so many families who have been here for so many generations, and they live and they work and they do business in this part of town. Take a look. In an ever-changing society and economy, some things do remain constant, even with big business and the corporate world upon us. Some areas do remain rich in culture and history. Old Town Albuquerque is one of those areas.
I've been here 10 years, and I do love working here because I get to meet people from all around the world.
A perfect example of keeping history alive is a store that can stay in business for 61 years, and that just so happens to be where I'm standing right now, inside the Covered Wagon. And if you're from New Mexico and you've been to Albuquerque and you've been to Old Town, you certainly know about the Covered Wagon, the best souvenir shop to take all of your visitors and guests. And if you're new to town, it's a great place to visit to pick up that souvenir for a loved one. But you can see it's busy, and it's so nice to see that after all these years with all these big businesses, that a store like this can stay so busy in the middle of a week. It's not a holiday, it's no special event, but business is still thriving, and that's so great to see right here in Old Town.
Now, it wasn't until 1706 the Duke of Albuquerque from Albuquerque, Spain, sent an acting governor up here on his behalf to kind of see what was going on. This was under Spanish control, but they really didn't know in Spain what was here because few people went back to tell them. It was a long trip. So the governor came up and he decided to start building a town. That's when the first building was built, and it was the church. But it wasn't this church. The original church was built right behind us where the basket shop is, but it washed away in a flood. So they rebuilt the church here in 1793. This building is 218 years old. It's a Catholic church. It's not very big, though. It's only as wide as the two steeples. On this end was a convent built in 1881. The building on the other end is the rectory. Notice how thick the wall is on the entryway, on the archway. All of the walls in this church are at least that thick. Some of them are 5 feet thick. Between the two buildings, this church has been active without ever an interruption in Sunday service for 305 years.
What I consider the heart of Old Town and the heart of local business is right behind me. It is all the works of the people who make it themselves, and they sit here all day long and they sell to both visitors and tourists as well as to local patrons.
I actually grew up doing this when I was a kid. I learned how to do lapidary work, which is how to work with stones, and you know how to string things and how to make things. And since then, it's actually supplementing my income while I'm going through school.
One of the nicest things I've been noticing about Old Town is that in addition to all the tradition, there's a nice blend of the old with the new. In a place like the patio market, I'm noticing all these beautiful art galleries, and we're finding a lot of the newer things that we're seeing and the trendier things associated with a lot of the culture and the tradition as well. What do you think of Old Town? Isn't it an amazing cultural, traditional way to spend your day?
It's beautiful. It's very beautiful. Yeah, a lot of nice people. I mean, this is the first place we hit right here, and we're just like, I mean, the area that you go to, I mean, it's the people reflect the area.
Now, if you're hungry from all the shopping you do here in Old Town, have no fear. There's plenty of food choices, everything from classic New Mexico style cuisine to a good old ice cream cone.
I'm blown away. I want to move here. I want to move my family here.
That was the reaction I was getting from people. I want to move here. I want to live here.
And, you know, the food, oh my gosh. Every time I've gone to, I think it's the Church Street.
Oh, the Church Street Cafe. And then there's La Placita.
Yeah, there's so many good food. I've had pizza too, but the sopapillas.
Oh, sopapillas.
So
how about the Chocolate Factory? Have you been in there?
I haven't been in there yet. I need to.
They have the caramel apples, you know. Oh, forget about it. Yeah. It's crazy. There's so much to do. And I just want to mention real quickly, I don't know if you can see, but this necklace that I'm actually wearing today is actually from Joshua Goodluck, who you saw in the package. He makes his own jewelry. He was explaining that, and he actually was so kind to give me this beautiful necklace, and I just want to thank him live on the air and tell you, Joshua, there it is. You can see it right now. Just thank you so much for this, and thank you for all you do for the community, to all of the patrons, and for all the patrons, and to all of the businesses. Thank you for that, because
gorgeous
it's a blast.
necklace. I'm going to have to go back and get one of those.
I already got 2 compliments on it this morning, so you might get some business today there, Josh.
All right, coming up next, Albuquerque Public Schools Teacher of the Month. Stick around.